big pieces. They've all come together. It is poetry in motion at Stamford Bridge right now. And that motion is upward, ascending to the top of the table. Do you agree?
I think some of their weaknesses have been exposed during the past 2 weeks, which will make it a lot harder as the year progresses. But up until now, I've got to go with Chelsea. My big X factor was the fact that Costa has yet to use horse placenta, which is, I think, definitely a plus. But if he does, the season could go horribly wrong. But Chelsea has looked quite good. They've been playing beautifully. Fabregas to Costa has been one of the best link-ups. Still looking for a little more from Eden Hazard. I think at the end of the day, Jake, I think if they want to win the Champions League, they're going to need more from Hazard. You can't. There's going to be points where Costa just won't come up big, or they're going to need a little more from other players. I need more from Hazard right now, but I still think that they have been great. I still think they should start Felipe Luis. I think he is the best left back in the Premier League. I think that he is one of the best left backs in the world. And I think that though Azpilicueta is great, I would much rather have Felipe Luis for most points. Though they have gotten Luis in there a couple times. I've got to go with Chelsea. As you said, poetry in motion, but I think it's poetry in motion, but with a little bit more chinks at certain points, a little more like some potholes in the road. Instead of it being that smooth poem, the last couple of lines got cut off a bit, and they haven't been quite as good. I want to see how they respond, especially going against a good team this week against Arsenal, and of course playing Champions League soccer. Those are tests. But besides that, yeah. Quick segment, Chelsea. Final one. And a more of a debate. We'll see if it ends up being a debate. What has been the best league so far? And not necessarily the most entertaining, the most fun to watch, or the most watched, because that's going to be the Premier League. But the best league thus far. Jake, we'll start with you, and I feel like you're going to go with the Premier League, because you don't really watch much else.
Is it entertaining?
Which has been the best league? Which league has been the best league? It's very open-ended in how you want to qualify best.
Well, for me, and I think for most Americans, you want something that you can watch. And again, it's pretty biased. I know that the Premier League is not necessarily the most talented league. Nonetheless, the reason it's got the most popular stateside, besides, of course, there's no language barrier, is that it's the most entertaining. There's a lot of parity.
Not entertaining, though. But okay, you can qualify entertaining as best.
Well, look at this. You have it's competitive. You have Swansea City,
Jake,
only Welsh team.
Jake, I would like to remind you though, this is not for history. This is just for this season, and so far.
Correct. Who would have thought that Southampton, who lost not one, not two, 6 different players, and their coach, had 2 more players tried to leave, had their best striker still injured and not going to be playing until next month. And they're in second place. And who do they play next? How about their former coach? They go up against Maurizio Pochettino and Tottenham Hotspur. It's storylines like that. It's the unprecedented rise of Aston Villa to 6th
Really,
place.
because now and then the last 2 games where they've gotten absolutely destroyed by good teams. Jake, if you want a big surprise, how about a team that doesn't even have big name players like Southampton? Let's go over to the Bundesliga, and let's go to Borussia Mönchengladbach, who's in 2nd place.
That sounds like a pretty big name to me.
Really? It's a... Oh, come on. Jake, you're... Okay. You know what? I accept. They have Raphael. They have Traore, Ibrahima. They've got Dames. Fabian Johnson is probably the only player anybody here knows. Though they do have good players. It's not like they're just non-existent. They have Christoph Kramer, who, personally, I really like. And, of course, Thorgan Hazard, the other Hazard brother. But overall, most of these guys are not guys that most people know.
pretty surprising. I will agree with you. I mean, who would have thought that Borussia Dortmund...
Hey, let me make my argument. That's part of my argument. This is a team that went to a Champions League final 2 years ago. Find that in the Premier League and find them as far down as they are. Tell me, Jake. Because I don't see Chelsea, the team most recently winning a Champions League, or even making it to a Champions League final, at 6, where are they? 12th right now? I don't see that. Schalke. Yeah, see, they tie with Chelsea. They're 10th. This is sure. The Premier League's been pretty entertaining. But near to the top, we still have the teams. We still have Manchester United approaching that bubble. We still got Manchester City, Arsenal, and Chelsea at the top, in the top 4. We still got Tottenham near the top. In the Bundesliga, we don't have that. We have Bayer at 3rd. We have Mainz, Mönchengladbach, Hoffenheim, Hanover, Eintracht, Augsburg, Wolfsburg, all before Schalke. And then we have Paderborn.
Wolfsburg's 9th.
Wolfsburg.
That's pretty insane. They were like our
exactly.
Unanimous dark horse.
No, Bayern was mine.
Bayern Munich was your
Bayer Leverkusen.
Really?
Yeah, Leverkusen was mine. You guys like Wolfsburg.
Let's play that back. I thought that we all were unanimous. That
no, I said Leverkusen because of Keebling.
Oh, okay.
Because I like Keebling, and his name sounds like Kibbles. Look, I think there's an argument to be made. The Premier League is the most entertaining to a certain extent, but the best league, it's been Germany. I think it's been just so unpredictable near the top. You go to Italy, predictable. France, surprisingly, not quite as predictable, but France is just that league. That I'd rather there are really solid. There's really solid evidence that Ukraine, Russia, and Netherlands all are better leagues than France. I would actually agree. I would rather watch Russia. At least they have a competition at the top.
What about the Belgian Jupiler League?
Yeah, but they don't have like that level. Anderlecht doesn't count as like.
I just love it. It's called Jupiler?
It's a weird name. I've got to go with the Bundesliga right now. I think it's always going to be interesting, but the problem is that's what makes, I think, the Bundesliga so enticing. We don't know who's going to be that final team there. We don't even know if Dortmund's going to make it at this point. They haven't played that amazing in the league. In fact, if you go to the Bundesliga table and you actually look at results, even Munich hasn't done that great. They've drawn 2 games, something that last year was unheard of. If they draw their next game and Mönchengladbach wins, they're going to be tied atop the table. You look at Dortmund, they have lost more games than they've won. They've lost 3 games. They've tied 1 and they've won 2. Schalke, who beat Dortmund, still can't get any higher than 10th. 2-2 for them.
Yeah, but right. Surprising. If this is not most surprising, I will take Bundesliga 10 times.
It's still been a better league. It's been more competitive.
If we're talking about entertaining.
No, I said best. I said best league. I said best league. Not most entertaining.
No, I know you're not saying entertaining. I'm saying, in my mind, when you say best, as an American, I'm going to translate that for now to entertaining. And as you said earlier in the show...
But these leagues aren't American, are they?
It's a lot more discipline. And correct me if I'm wrong here, there's a lot less room for creativity there than there is in...
Here's the thing. You don't win a World Cup without a lot of creativity. They're disciplined, but they're definitely creative. They do have a guy who's a genius named Mesut Ozil. They have a lot of creativity. They're disciplined.
Mesut Ozil, you mean on Arsenal?
Yeah, who maybe hasn't played as great, but I do recall some great plays recently from him, and he is one of the better midfielders in the world.
Again, the German league is also it's, and again, correct me if I'm wrong here. Generally, it's more low scoring, correct?
I would probably say so, yes. But I mean, does that make it better, Jake? Let's also remember this. as an American, you translate entertaining, but remember where we're talking about. This isn't the MLS, bro. We're not talking about American sports. This is Europe. And you know, as well as I, that best does not translate to entertaining. Because if it was that, then the Broncos probably were the best team last year in the NFL. But they weren't. You know that, Jake. You cannot translate entertaining directly to best.
It is different.
No, you can't translate entertaining directly to best. If you look up...
And if it's just something like soccer, I think that there's different standards here. I think that there is still a question that we haven't answered. We've talked about most entertaining. We've talked about most surprising. What we haven't answered is most talented.
Most talented is still Spain. They have defending Europa. They have defending Champions League. They had both Champions League teams. They have Barcelona. They have somehow Valencia sneaking up near the top.
They also have Sevilla, of course.
I'm also trying to go to the country coefficients right now, which I will be at in a
country coefficients. For those of you who don't know.
By the way, country coefficients. Here we have it. So far in 2014-2015, and this is gonna surprise a couple people. Number 1.
Belgium's one, isn't it?
Because the problem is, this relies so heavily on winning Champions League matchups. Croatia. Number 2. Yeah, no, it's Croatia. Number 2, this one's reasonable. Spain. And if you want to just if you want to like expand this to what's been the best league over the past 5 years, number 1 is Spain. And I keep reinforcing this. England may be the most entertaining, the most fun to watch. The Premier League may be the most fun to watch, but if you want to watch the best teams play, you go to Spain. They have the best teams. They have better teams than England do. They're winning more. That's the bottom line. England right now in second. Of course, France dropping. France now 7th behind Portugal, behind Russia. Ukraine is on their tail, so is Netherlands. Belgium as well. For me, France within a couple of years, probably ranking for me, if they're lucky, 9th. They could probably end up in 10th, to be honest.
If you're wondering what the name of the Croatia's league is, it looks like someone had a bunch of Scrabble tiles and didn't bother to make a word with it. Perva Journal.
Stop it. Stop trying to pronounce it.
NL. Oh, this year, sorry, they changed sponsors. It's the Max TV Perva Liga.
Oh my god, you hear that laugh? Did you just hear that laugh? It was just the voice.
And it's only 10 teams. And it's, you know what, oh wow, this is really sad. Number 1 is Dynamo Zagreb with 26 points.
Good team.
Number 2 is NK Rijeka with 24. And in third place is Hajduk Split with 15 points.
Hajduk Split?
3 through 10.
Yo, I'm about to watch Croatia from now on. Max TV is my life.
And, by the way, the top 5 teams, the top half of this league, the top 6 in these 10 teams, the 6 best of these 10 teams are from 2 different cities.
Ooh, you know what? I think Max TV is life now. I will be watching Croatia. And I will be giving out
2 for Split. So 5 of the top 6 come from 2 different cities.
I think at the end of the day, how you define best league all depends. I could also make a very big argument for Spain being the best league. I just wanted to go with it. I didn't want to sound too biased. But for me, I still want to say that I think over the past couple of years, and I think at the end of this year, Spain is still the best league. I think England is the most entertaining, and if I had to choose a league to watch, I'm going England 10 times out of 10, but the best league for me is Spain. Then again, it all depends on how you define best. I think that's a very open-ended one, as we've seen here. But it's time for own goal. We got to keep moving. We are now 75 minutes in. This has been a really good show, actually. I've really enjoyed this show. a lot more
When's the last
discussion.
time these were?
Well, we haven't had one since transfer talk, so it's a lot more opinionated. We had a little more discussion in there, and it's been